Hello and welcome to Caleb's Shed, the place where we just do things because it's good for a man to do things. This is a carcass saw that a friend of mine who's 92 gave to me, and when I got it, it was not in great condition. It was black and brown across the blade, the brass back was brown, the handle had no finish, and the original medallion and screws were replaced with some horrible square nut screw from the 1950s. But this saw is older than I am, and it's still as useful as the day that it came out of the line at Henry Brown and Sons in Sheffield. A beautiful piece of steel for anyone's shop. But in front of me I have quite the opposite. I have some very cheap tools that are in very bad condition. This is a gouge I received for free when I swapped out a Ryobi bandsaw for a lathe and the gouges that the person had. Now, I was happy for the swap because I didn't want the small Ryobi bandsaw. It didn't really go well with the other colour of my tools, primarily being orange and black. So I picked up a lathe, which I'll show you in a different video. But as you can see, these gouges are not in a good way. That one's split and missing the collar. It's being used for plastering for some reason. This one's been used for opening paint tins and stirring them, but ultimately they're all a bit flimsy and they need to be restored. Now, restoring them is a good idea for a couple of reasons. One, I got them for free, so they're much cheaper than buying something else. But even if you were able to pick these up secondhand fairly cheap, you'd probably be better off than buying new ones for a couple of reasons. One, when you're buying secondhand, typically you don't have to ship something halfway around the world, so you're saving the environment, you're saving yourself money. More importantly, you're giving something old new purpose. And when you do that, I think it's good for your soul. I think it's good for you as a person, as a man, as a woman, as a creator, just as a human being, to think about something other than yourself and invest in doing something with your hands. I really think that's important. Anyway, we've got a few different tools we're going to be using to do this. You're going to see the whole process. Wire brush, wire wheel, white vinegar, the cure-all for rust, and my wife's Tupperware. I have been struck by lightning. Let's continue. For myself, I'll be consuming energy drink and donuts. But let's do this crazy thing. Go. It's making me thirsty. Nothing too. Look at that, that's horrid. It's probably not actually. Oh, I have to paint. Let's go find a grip. So here you can see the vinegar doing its job on the rust. See all those little bubbles popping on the surface? It's vinegar dissolving the rust, because it is the rust that leaves the metal behind. There, so let's get this dumped. Make your eyes all that. That's in the vinegar. Get it wiped down. And you can use a lot of WD-40. There's no limit to the amount of WD-40 you can use on metal. It loves it. And I it's a lovely thing. Also acts as a sort of a lubricant as well. All nice and shiny and clean. Again, a bit of a dull, not a shiny metal finish, but that's okay with me. Well, it's now the next day, and this is the amazing part about when you clean up old tools. I've been looking at the markings on these that are now visible. The rust is gone, and this is a Sorby. 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 So I've got 6 Sorby gouges and lathe chisels, and then this very cool funky gouge is actually a Peugeot one, so I was not expecting any of that. This marking sort of popped up, and I couldn't quite read it until the rust was gone and the daylight had come, so I could actually read that. But that's interesting. I still am not sure of the ancestral lineage of this one. It does not look of excellent quality. It actually looks quite cheap, but anyway, it turns out that the tools I thought were quite crappy are not quite crappy. It's like someone has actually spent the time to get themselves some Sorby blades. So this is Sheffield steel. Just FYI, that's good tool steel. They make excellent tool steel there. They still make excellent tool steel there when they still have a factory there. And there are a few and a few more still popping up. So progress, that's the old handle. That's the new handle. These are still just finely drying. All I did was cut them back, put a new coat on them, and they're looking pretty fine. A little nicer to the touch. I'm going to probably just lightly sand that back with a really fine sandpaper or some steel wool. Put the blade in and away we go. So yes, we're almost there. One done silver, one done in paper. See the difference. I have to try and remember which one's going where. Not that's a very big one, because got a really big open hole. Yep, that's that one. It's a very square hole. Looks about right. Don't hit them too hard. Just FYI. It's a fairly small hole. Hit them too hard. That's like driving a nail into end grain. It's possibly going to slip a little. Jeepers. That's something up. Ooh, tiny little thin prick. I think that's supposed to be this one. So someone's taken some original Sorby blades and put them in not so original handles. Maybe handles they made themselves, who knows? So, after pretty much a day's worth of effort with some elapsed time in there for the drying of the handles, we've got ourselves a really good set of gouges and lathe tools. Unexpected Rob Sorby steel, that was a win. That was a real win. So very excited about that. And also the Peugeot steel that we found along the way as well. That's pretty exciting. I mean, Sorby's been making tools since the 1800s, so they know what they're doing. And Sheffield steel is good steel. It's good steel. It holds a good edge. Has a great reputation amongst woodworkers all around the world. But I'm super keen to test these, but need to get the lathe actually up and running. It's not in the bestest of condition at all. So gonna do a video on that soon. Until then, hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you again in my workshop some other time.